Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright here as we wrap up the other domains, the non-political ones for the initial sort of coastal regions that we've looked at so far. So the trade picture in the Plain States is not always a pretty one. The honorable guilds, such as the Gold Coast Coster and the Zangi Merchant Guild, often find their business contained by the underhanded Brotherhood of Ket and the Gudaya Coster. So yeah, there's a lot going on here, pretty cutthroat environment, but this one is available for players, so it's considered neutral good, which you don't always see with a lot of these guilds, but it manages southern coastal holdings from Aria, and as you can see, there's a fair few holdings there, right? Yeah, mainly some 1s and 2s. There is that 1-3 though, but as you can see in some of the provinces, these kind of more or less pair along with that, although certainly not controlling all the trade here and there, so that's, you know, maybe some room for expansion. Resource wise, starting out, it's not great, right? Only 8 generated and 10 accumulated for Regency. Doesn't leave you much, especially when you're dealing with the more cutthroat competitors out there. 8 gold though is respectable considering the holdings and levels, and you right now collecting about 9 a turn, so that can hopefully expand quickly and again put resources where they're going to be most effective. The Coster is run by an Arian merchant named Omadi the Quick, level 6 thief, very minimal bloodline, but neutral good, and is a self-made man who grew up as a gutter snipe in the Beggar's Quarter. Having lived in great poverty, he does what he can to aid those in need, so kind of a Robin Hood type thief. The Gold Coast Coster buys local valuables and livestock for sale to foreign merchants. Omadi doesn't own a single ship, something to fix down the road. His customers come to him, again, great, but also nice to be able to control your trade more by having your own ships and sending them out to then bring valuable items back. But yeah, his customers come to him knowing he can save them the trouble of dealing with dozens of individuals. So great in the sense that he does a lot of direct dealings and cuts out middlemen, but again, a great way to expand and maybe offer what some other guilds can't is by setting up naval trade routes, because some of the overland routes are going to be very nasty given all the things going on in all these domains here, all the issues with that. So overland not going to be that great, but setting up some sort of coastal sea trade routes is going to be a worthy goal here. So I would say building up maybe the holdings a little bit in early domain turns, getting some of that a little bit more Regency generated, a little bit more gold consistently. Might need to, again, delve in and build a budget for maybe, you know, at least 1 ship starting out, but then, you know, really expand that. You're not really typically fielding military forces as part of a guild, but also just making sure that even though you're neutral good, it's some way, shape, or form you got to deal with the more underhanded competition. And a lot of these territories, that's not necessarily going to happen by lawful means. So in some way, shape, or form, your competition has to be dealt with. But as far as just purely expanding the economic areas, again, building up what you do here, doing it better than any of your competition, protecting your holdings from the competition, and then I'd say, you know, taking to the sea and just maybe stretching some of those trade routes out to maybe even Anawiran realms, and then bringing back some really nice pay would be the way to go. Now, there are several other guilds, a lot of other stuff going on here, and some that are even larger than you. But you have the Brotherhood of Ket, the Extraordinary Traders of Turin, Gudaya Coster, we mentioned them as an adversary, the Regent of Aria, the Seirate Consortium. We didn't really get much of a mention in them so much, but go back and check our Bensada video. The Sphinx, obviously an Anshe, tough to deal with there. And then the other sort of adversary, the Zangi Merchant Guild, although the more still one of the more honorable ones, right? So, but you can see where the holdings are spread out there. But these guys again run out of Aria, but you have other competition even within Aria. So just finding ways to muscle out the competition, or work with other generally good aligned guilds like the Merchant Guild there, to deal with some of the other nastier adversaries. So fair bit going on there for the guilds as well. So some more good-minded operators, and then also a lot of cutthroat competition, as you would normally expect. So a fun one to certainly try out. Not overly difficult, but there's definitely some work to be done, and just a sort of a tough start on resources, but very doable and could be well worth the reward, especially if players are either working together as various members of the guild, or maybe one player's running the realm, one player's running the guild, and so on and so forth. So, but also just adventuring as part of coming up as younger members of the guild would be also a fun and rewarding campaign. So let us know, guys, if you've done anything with the Gold Coast Coster. Hit us up in the comments, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.